the weeping eyes of the attic. "Do you really have to go up there?" Sarah's voice quivered as she watched her older brother, Alex, prepare to ascend the creaky wooden stairs leading to the attic. "You know how Dad is," Alex replied, more to himself than to his sister. "He needs these old paintings moved by tomorrow, and it's already dark." "I'll be fine, Sarah." Sarah glanced nervously toward the top of the stairs, where the darkness seemed thicker, more suffocating than anywhere else in the house. "I heard strange noises up there last night," she whispered, clutching the hem of her shirt. "Like crying." Alex, though only 16, was already the man of the house since their father worked late most nights. He didn't believe in ghosts or any of those silly stories Sarah always mentioned. "It's just an old house, Sarah. Houses make noises, especially ones this old. Don't worry." Despite his dismissive tone, Alex couldn't help but feel a slight shiver creep up his spine as he turned his back on his sister and faced the staircase again. The attic had always been a strange place, filled with forgotten items, dusty heirlooms, and things that seemed to whisper secrets from a time before they were born. But tonight, there was something else, an unease he couldn't quite shake. As he stepped onto the first stair, it groaned loudly under his weight. "Just wood settling," he muttered to himself. He continued upward, the air growing colder with each step. Sarah stayed at the bottom, biting her lip, torn between following her brother or running to her room to hide under her covers. The old door to the attic loomed ahead, its wood scarred and worn, the handle cold to the touch. Alex paused, hand hovering just above it. For a moment, he thought he heard something, a faint sobbing, like a child lost and alone. He shook his head, trying to push the sound away, but it clung to him, making the small hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. "Stop it, Alex. You're just psyching yourself out," he told himself, forcing his hand to grasp the handle and turn it. The door creaked open, revealing the shadowed interior of the attic, lit only by the faint glow of the moon filtering through a small, grimy window. Dust swirled in the air as he stepped inside, the old wooden floor creaking ominously underfoot. Paintings, stacked haphazardly against the walls, lined the narrow space, their frames chipped and faded. Some had once been beautiful, with vibrant colors and lifelike portraits, but now they seemed more like ghosts themselves, fragments of forgotten lives. He set down the flashlight he brought, its beam cutting through the darkness, revealing more of the cluttered room. The faint sound of crying came again, clearer this time. It seemed to be coming from the far corner of the attic, where the shadows were deepest. "Hello?" Alex called out, his voice echoing slightly.
"Hello?
"Is anyone there?" The crying stopped abruptly, leaving an unsettling silence in its wake. Alex's heart raced, but he refused to let fear control him. He took a deep breath and walked towards the corner, the beam of the flashlight shaking slightly in his hand. As he approached, he noticed something out of place among the paintings, a small, white teddy bear, lying on the floor. It was old, with one button eye missing and patches of its fur worn down to the fabric. He crouched down to pick it up, feeling a sudden chill in the air as his fingers closed around it. The moment he touched the bear, a shadow shifted in the corner, and a figure stepped forward, a little girl, no older than 10, wearing a tattered white dress. Her long, dark hair hung over her face, obscuring her features, but Alex could see enough to know that she wasn't quite solid. Her form wavered like a mirage, as if she was only half present in this world. But what struck him the most were her eyes, blood-red tears streaming down her pale cheeks, staining her dress as they fell. Who are you?" Alex stammered, dropping the bear in shock. The girl didn't answer. Instead, she tilted her head slightly, her bleeding eyes focusing on him with an intensity that made him feel like she was looking straight into his soul. She opened her mouth to speak, but only a soft, pitiful sob escaped her lips. Sarah, who had been too scared to follow her brother earlier, suddenly appeared at the top of the stairs, her eyes wide with fear. "Alex. What's going on? Who are you talking to?" Alex turned to her, his face pale. There's a girl here, Sarah. She's..." But when he looked back, the girl was gone. The teddy bear lay where he had dropped it, but there was no sign of the ghostly figure. Only the cold, oppressive atmosphere of the attic remained. Sarah edged closer, her eyes darting around the room. "I don't see anyone, Alex. What happened?" Alex swallowed hard, trying to make sense of what he had just witnessed. "I don't know. She was here, a little girl, crying, with blood coming from her eyes." Sarah shuddered, instinctively stepping closer to her brother. "Do you think she's a ghost?" "I don't know," Alex admitted, his voice shaking slightly. "But we need to find out who she is, or was. Something's keeping her here, and it's not good." The two siblings spent the next few hours in the attic, carefully going through the old paintings and objects, hoping to find some clue about the ghostly girl. The air was thick with dust and the scent of old wood, making every breath feel heavy. But the crying never returned, and the girl didn't reappear. Just when they were about to give up, Sarah found something. She pulled a small, dusty photo album from behind a stack of old books. The cover was worn, but when she opened it, the pictures inside were remarkably well preserved. "Look," Sarah said, holding the album so Alex could see. The first few pages were filled with photographs of a family from decades ago. The parents were stiff and formal in every picture, but it was the little girl that caught their attention. She looked exactly like the ghost Alex had seen, same long, dark hair, same pale face. "That's her," Alex whispered, pointing at the girl in the photos. "But what happened to her?" They flipped through the album, looking for any clues. As they reached the last few pages, the tone of the photos changed. The little girl, once smiling and playful, now appeared sad, her eyes hollow. The last picture was the most disturbing, a portrait of the girl, her eyes red and swollen, as if she had been crying for days. Sarah closed the album with a shiver. "Do you think she died up here? Maybe that's why she's still here, crying." Alex nodded slowly, piecing it together. "I think so. But there's something else, something we're missing." They continued searching, and eventually, they found an old newspaper clipping tucked between the pages of a forgotten book. The headline read, "Local Family Tragedy, Daughter Found Dead in Attic." Sarah read the article aloud, her voice trembling. "It says she was found up here, holding that teddy bear, just like the one you saw. She had been missing for days, and when they finally found her, she was gone. The doctors said she died of dehydration, but the parents insisted she had been locked away by something evil." Alex looked around the attic, the shadows seeming darker now. What if that evil is still here? What if it's keeping her spirit trapped? Suddenly, the temperature in the room plummeted, and the sobbing returned, louder this time, more desperate. The siblings turned to see the girl standing there once more, her figure flickering like a dying flame. The red tears flowed more freely now, staining the floor beneath her. "Please, help me," the girl's voice was barely audible, a whisper carried on the cold wind that now swept through the attic.
Hold on.
"What do you want us to do?" Sarah asked, her voice cracking. The girl pointed towards the photo album. then towards the small window at the far end of the attic. Alex and Sarah exchanged a glance, unsure of what she meant. "She wants us to take her picture," Alex guessed. Sarah hesitated, then opened the window, letting the cool night air rush in. "No. I think she wants to be free. She wants to leave this place." The girl nodded slowly, her eyes pleading. The wind picked up, whipping through the attic, scattering papers and dust. The temperature dropped even further, their breath now visible in the air. "How do we free you?" Alex asked, desperate to help the tormented spirit. The girl didn't speak, but her eyes locked onto the photo album. Sarah, understanding what she meant, walked over to it and carefully removed the photograph of the little girl from its page. "We need to burn it," Sarah said, her voice filled with certainty. "It's the only way to release her." Alex looked around, unsure. "But where? We can't just set a fire in the house." "Outside," Sarah suggested. "We'll burn it outside." The girl watched them intently, her form becoming more transparent by the second. She was fading, as if the mere thought of freedom was pulling her away from the world she had been trapped in for so long. Alex and Sarah raced down the stairs and out into the cold night. They hurried to the fire pit their father used for summer barbecues, their breaths coming in quick, frosty puffs. Alex grabbed some matches from the nearby shed, and Sarah carefully placed the photograph in the center of the pit. As the flame caught, the photograph curled and blackened, the image of the girl disappearing into ash. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a soft breeze stirred the air, carrying with it the faintest sound of laughter, free and pure, no longer burdened by sorrow. Back in the attic, the coldness had lifted. The oppressive atmosphere was gone, replaced by a quiet calm. The siblings stood in the darkened yard, watching the last of the ashes drift into the night sky. "Do you think she's at peace now?" Sarah asked quietly, hugging herself against the cold. Alex nodded, feeling an unexpected sense of relief wash over him. "I think so. She's finally free." They stood there for a while, watching the stars twinkle in the clear night sky, knowing that the ghostly girl with the bleeding eyes was finally at rest.